Good evening to you, everyone. It's such an honor and privilege to come your way again here on Voices and Forces. And we don't take it for granted. We thank you for always joining up despite the heat we had on Facebook bringing this session live. But we are here now. So if you can see me on Facebook or on YouTube, do well to drop in the comment section where you're watching from. And if you have questions, just drop them in the comment section. Either we read them now or even after the session. Uh, Uncle Ruben Buhari will be doing us the honor of answering the questions as they go, or even after the session when he gets to see them on Facebook. So thank you, as special guest. It's such an honor to have you here today, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
Yes, so because we've had to take so much time trying to bring the session up on Facebook and that didn't work, I'll just let you do a brief introduction about yourself and we can kick the conversation from there.
Okay, my name is, like people know, my name is Ruben Buhari. Um, what again do I say? I'm into development work. I've been a journalist for over 20 years. So I do more of development work. I do media consultancy and basically do interventions with vulnerable people out there on different, different fees, school fees, advocacy. I mean, we do a lot of things out there with people who are vulnerable. So basically, in a nutshell, this is who Ruben is.
All right. Thank you very much for that brief introduction. Your an extent of experience volume, but I know person and you don't like blowing your trumpet. We'll leave it at that. Those who know, you know. So if you know, you know. All right. Thank you, Ruben.
Thank you.
Let's go straight into it. Security is what it ought to be, where the state government, the federal government, the local government, or government at all tier uh, look out for the safety of lives and property within their domain, within their territory. But today, we find that people are having to do so much more to secure their lives and property. And in some cases, have the government even fight them for attempting to keep themselves safe and their property safe. What do you have to say about that?
Okay, yeah. So it's actually a very funny situation that we have found ourselves in. Everybody knows that we're living in a situation where, to some extent, no one can guarantee your tomorrow except God. And what I'm saying is the insecurity is so terrible that it has become a national topic, unfortunately. It came in and displays a lot of things that we ought to be talking, like development and some other things. And then right now, everywhere you turn around, people are talking about insecurity. And you see, like someone said, you will feel that we've gotten to the bottom, that things can't get bad anymore. And then something will happen, and then you find out that the bottom that we was so things are bad, and the government, of course, is constitutionally saddled with the responsibility of securing its people. Both the state, federal, are supposed to do that, but we all know that that isn't happening. To some extent. If you stay within the city, in Kaduna and some of these state capital, you find to some extent some level of security. But all you need to do to find out that things are bad is just to step outside a certain limit, from the city center. Go into some of these local government, and then you begin to see what insecurity is. And the government is, well, I keep saying that we encourage them that what they are doing is not enough, but they can do better. But funnily enough, again, we're staying in an environment where things are not being done the way they should be. You are talking about insecurity, and someone out there is sitting down and said, no, you shouldn't talk about insecurity because if you talk about it, you're going to cast the state in bad light, something like that. And this is funny. This is funny. We are playing the ostrich while our head is buried under the sand, thinking that no one is seeing us. But the whole world is looking at us. So this is a very unfortunate situation we find ourselves in. And you can see that it's coming up with a lot of results. Now, for example, if you see what happened in Oyo, the school
Yes.
children and the teachers that were freed yesterday after
Yeah.
spending 56 days in captivity, I think 56 days. Now, when it happened, the whole world, let me just use that one, everyone was talking about it. Everyone was talking about it. We had musicians, we had people, coming up with songs, government officials and everybody was talking about it. And it galvanized a lot of support. It galvanized a lot of action. I saw the pictures of all the military hardware personnel that were combing the Oyo, forest where they said the people are. You could see a lot of effort. Everybody was talking about it. Now, compare that to what is happening in Kaduna State, where you have a lot of people who are currently under captivity, but nobody's saying anything. And let me lay it this way. People remember what happened in Kuriminwali. It happened, I think, in January, was it in February or thereabout, when about 170 something people were in their churches, they came and took them.
Yeah.
Now, everyone who has a link to that in government said nothing like that happened. The local government chairman came out and was screaming his head off, nothing like that happened. The commissioner of police said nothing. It took the effort of some of us, few of us who went in, and then we found out that, yes, something actually happened. Now you can see a deliberate effort that was brought in to keep it quiet. Okay? And what I keep saying that, what if the military had moved in the moment that thing happened? Because it happened around 10, What if by
Yeah.
12, the military had already gone after them? No, but it took almost 3 days before the government officials started agreeing that, yeah, something happened. And then you could see some half-hearted movement that came in. And then we also have this incident in Kaduna State, in Kachia local government. We have people who were in their church on Easter Sunday, I think 5th July. They came and took them. And everybody was trying to keep it quiet. The government itself, the local government chairman of Kachia local government, was at the head of people who are trying to suppress it. And I'm saying this thing because the councillor representing the area who spoke to newsmen about it was suspended from being a councillor. He was eventually removed as the speaker of the Kachia local government legislature there, but right now they remove him. And even me, I had an incident with him. So there has been this deliberate effort to suppress it. Today, these guys have spent over 90 something days in captivity. Nobody's saying anything. So when the Oyo attack was being analyzed on TV, I saw people who were listing other places where you still have these victims, and that or those of Kaduna was not mentioned. On 20th July, 11 people were abducted from Awon village. Right now, they spend about 70 something or close to 80. Nobody is saying anything about it. if you speak about it, you have some agency of government, you have some people of government who look at you as the opposition. So what they are trying to do is that, okay, yeah, these things are happening, but we don't want anybody to talk about it. In a nutshell, is basically what is happening, and the effect is there. You can see what happened on your. These people eventually were freed, but here, because nobody is talking about it, nobody is making any serious effort, to go in there and rescue these people. How do you sit down? How do you sleep at night, knowing fully well that some of your own citizens that you've sworn with the Holy Book to protect are sleeping in the bush? Do you know what it means for children, women, nursing mothers to be in the bush in this rainy season? They've been there for over 90 something days. They are about to clock 100 days. No shed, no food, exposed to all the elements, exposed to all the dangers there. They are still there. And I'm saying little children. There's a mother who is nursing. You have children as young as 4, 5, 6 there. They're there.
All
So
right.
this is what is happening, and it's
All right.
very
Ruben,
unfortunate.
I can only imagine, right? Because I have not had to be in that situation. And I honestly don't have to be in that situation to speak about it. You and I don't have to be in that situation to speak about it. One of the things that the government has always said is that security is a global challenge, all right? And they have cited that even in countries like America and the likes, they have same or similar kind of issues every now and then. And I am moved to ask, from what you have seen, would you honestly say the government is consciously making effort to hide most of these things coming up so that the international community don't see it? Or is there a brief between you and state actors?
No, I'll say it again, that there's a deliberate effort to keep this thing quiet. And I'm saying it with all sense of responsibility because um, I've seen people who were threatened, like I said, because they spoke about this thing.
Mm.
Even me, excuse me, I know I have lost friends who look at me like someone who, a rabble rouser, someone who loves embarrassing the government or whatever it is there. Look, there is an established sense of a sense of denial. People are deliberately denying this thing, not by mistake, but deliberately, saying that these things are not happening. When the incident of Ariko happened, it was then that we realized through the local government chairman of Kaduna State that there are about 94, 74 communities of thereabout that have been displaced. Now,
Wow.
this is just in one part of local government, just
Wow.
one part
Wow.
where you have these people. And if you want evidence of these things, go to Kachia local government and see the IDPs that are there. Go to Kateri, which is on this Kaduna Abuja road. Go to Jere, they are there. They've all run away from their communities and they are there. Nobody is acknowledging the fact that we have a problem. Nobody. We've been to camps, we've been with these people, we've seen them, we've spoken to them, we've heard their stories, very terrible stories. But nobody seems to be making any concrete effort to do whatever it is. And I love doing this comparison because when the abducted school children came out yesterday, the ones in Oyo, I was looking at all the statements. The state governor made a statement. The military high command made a statement, and then I looked at all the names, in the statement that was made by the military, the people who took part in it. There was this special forces from the office of the NSA. There's these people from the police, from the Navy. You could see this deliberate effort that went into it. That is in Oyo. In Kaduna State, we are yet to see that thing, honestly speaking.
All right.
If they are operating, because they usually there's this thing they used to say, okay, security matters, we don't want to talk about it, something like that. But we have not seen the effort. These people were abducted. They've spent close to 100 days and nothing is happening. We have those ones from recently. Now there are some people that have been abducted from a village called Ongwang Atiku. I think those ones have spent like 2 weeks now or thereabout. Nothing, as far as I'm concerned, no effort. And look, let me tell you, to get these people out is actually easy, because where these camps are places where it's virtually known. Okay? We've had people who came out from those camps and they will come and say, look, we know where the camp is. And we spoke to the security about this thing. We spoke to them. We've not had any response. So when you do all these things and you don't get any appropriate response, you are left with no option than to say nothing is being done. I mean, that's where we are now.
I get it, Ruben. I understand this clearly. And sometimes I am moved to wonder the benefit to the government if we say they are hiding it. Is it to make them look good before the international community, to make them look like they are working? I truly cannot answer this. But what I think I can go further in pushing is our conversations like this, because every now and then we get feedbacks on what we do here and the people who are saying this. If you have something to say to the state governments precisely on security, because yes, we are discussing security audit, what will it honestly be? Maybe if they feel you are being too harsh, because to me, I think anything that has to do with lives needs the utmost attention. And so, irrespective of how the way you put it, irrespective of the way you put it out, I expect to see so much action going in the direction to rescue these people. I do not have the details of what the government is doing in our state of residence and all of that. But I feel like anytime we put these things out, there should be concerted effort. And it shouldn't be like anybody's trying to cover anything. Now, when we talk about this, they say because it's security, you cannot give so much details or you cannot speak precisely. Else, you either tip off the criminals, the guys who are doing all of these things and making our lives miserable. But here we are now. Honestly, if you have to communicate with the state government, if you had to sit with them, what would be your own recommendations? All right. What would be your recommendations?
Okay. I don't even need to sit with them. Why should I sit with them? You mean they don't know what is happening? You mean they don't know that people have been abducted? You mean they don't know that people have spent over 100 days, close to 100 days in captivity? Oh, come on. We've spoken about this thing over and over and over. We've pleaded, we've spoken, but it seems to be falling on ears that are not responsive. You see, when it has to do with lives, I don't think we will not be sincere to ourselves if we begin to sugarcoat it. We will not be sincere to ourselves if we don't say it the way it should be said. From the day this thing happened, we've been talking about it. And the signal that came in that, yes, We're going to have a little problem with this issue, especially the abduction in Ariko, was when the counselor who represents the area now spoke to the press, and then his ordeal started. Okay? Look, let me tell you, where you know that this is deliberate, there are some media people who usually take some of these stories, but so far it's been quiet. I've had to speak to someone, especially when the Kurminwali incident happened, and I said, what exactly is wrong that you refuse to report this thing for 2 days? I've been a journalist for a very long time. I know there are news out there that are good when you see it. You just know this thing needs to be reported. So I spoke to him. I said, what happened? And he was going back and forth, and saying, we are trying to do responsible journalism, the state, blah, 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 blah. And at the end of the day, I said, look, I've been a journalist for a long time. I know what is happening. But you are betraying the ethics of journalism if you decide not to speak about this thing. So what am I saying? I don't need to sit with the state government on this issue. We've spoken about it. They have intelligence officers, in every of this local government. No, if government want to actually go into the bush and clear these people, I think they have the capacity to do it. I think they do. But why they are not doing it, I don't know. They want to tell me that they are doing it behind the scene. I don't know. I'm not seeing result. And I'm speaking because you have women and children who are involved in this thing. And now, again, I'll say, imagine you have a 3, 4, 5-year-old child. You have a wife who is nursing. Imagine someone comes in, takes her, kill her husband, takes her into the bush. You expect people to just go about it with, trying to sugarcoat the whole thing? No, we'll say it as it is. There's a problem going on, and the government need to rise up and tackle this issue. Hiding behind it, trying to play the ostrich will not take us anywhere. Innocent people are paying the price. Innocent people are suffering. Innocent people are being sacrificed on the altar of political expediency. And for me, this is what is happening, and it's bad. And me,
Yeah.
Ruben, I've been in this thing for a very long time, and I'll continue to say it the way it is.
I want to ask Ruben, are you saying there's been threats to your life or anything that has to do with your own safety because you've been speaking about this?
No, I'll say
Okay.
no. No. Let's just leave it at that. No.
All right. All right.
Yes.
All right. I'll leave it at that for so many reasons. Um, that's because whatsoever we say, we are expected to provide proofs. And sometimes, even with proofs, the system sometimes can mess with things and it's not going to end well. For the intention, which is to ensure that lives are secure wherever we are, and we don't want things to snowball into the things we don't intend to promote, right? So we'll leave it at that. I'd ask this question, but before we do, are you there with your other smartphone? I want you to just briefly check if, just go to my own profile, check if you can see that we are live, then we can go on with the conversation.
Okay. Yes. It's here. Let me see. I think you are still. No, it's even just blank. Maybe it's network, but it's just blank here. But you're actually live.
Okay,
That you
just
can see.
blank. Okay, okay. It's showing the red icon, right?
Yeah, it is. It is.
All right, all right. Thank you very much. So let's move on. I know there are a lot of people who might want to ask a few questions, but because we are not with them on Facebook directly, this is a Restream actually, and they won't be able to ask this question. So after the session, we'll have them ask these questions. We'll have you answer these questions maybe in the comment section and all of that. So moving on, Ruben, what do you think should do? State policing is coming up, right? Yes, there's a clamor for uh, the governments, the state governments using it against their enemies or opposition or people who criticize them. That fear exists. Yes. But for citizens, indigents of a state, what do you think they can do better to keep themselves safe where the government fails? Would you advise we keep speaking? Would you advise we just keep short even after doing all? They will storm your house and pick you. Usually, we know that it's when you're on the road, but now they come to people's houses to pick them in order to make this appeal to those who can help us in and outside the country. What do you think indigents need to start doing? What direction should their effort and focus be going to in order to bring all of this to an end?
Yeah. So for me, I don't know. I hope I get your question. For me, I will just urge citizens to keep talking about this issue. Let's keep talking about this thing. This is something that has to do with the lives of people, and you know why this thing is urgent, is important, is that with the way insecurity keeps spreading, nobody's sure that he won't become a victim. We've had people who have boasted that they are so secure, nothing will happen. And then unfortunately, while on the road, I mean, something did happen. So what I'm saying is that we need to keep talking about this thing. We're not fighting anybody. We're not fighting anybody. We're simply saying to those who have the constitutional responsibility of protecting us, like, can you take note of this thing? Can you take note of what is happening? Do you see the suffering of people through all these things? And we say this thing because I strongly believe that government has what it takes to sort out this issue. Maybe not completely eradicate it, but reduce it in such a way that we can almost look at it. Should we do? Let's talking about these things. For me, I've been talking about this thing because I know I've been talking about something that is factual. When I say, please come and rescue these people, and you begin to have problem with what I'm saying, I wouldn't be bothered because I don't think it's a problem. It is where I tell a lie or where, do something bad, linked to this thing, that I'll be scared. But what I do is that I tell you that, look, people have been abducted and nothing is being done. Because for me to tell you that something is being done, I need to see these people out. Even the people who were abducted from a village called Akondo, the students who are going back, they spent about 37 days. Those ones are free. They had to pay something. They lost a whole, term. They were going to school, and then this thing happened. They lost the term. Look, sometimes when people are abducted and they come out, what I do is that sometimes, anytime I have opportunity to sit with them, I ask them, did anybody come to sit with you? And they will say no. And this is where I keep faulting the government. Do you know there's this trove of intelligence that they can get? Anytime somebody spend a week or 2 weeks, look, even if it is repetitive, sit with the person down and say, take me through what happened. Names, what did you see, faces, and stuff like that. And they can do it. Imagine you sit down with 20 people, because these people keep going in and coming out. I'm talking about the victims. And you sit with them and say, take me through, debrief them. debrief them. At the end of 1 week, honestly speaking, you'll be able to have a very clear picture of what is happening. I'm not saying they don't have a picture of what is happening. I'm just saying this is the way to get intelligent. Speak to their people, and a lot of things. Nothing is being done. For me, as far as I'm concerned, because I speak to some of these people, nothing is being done. And then at the end of the day, somebody will begin to give you very funny stories on what is happening. Nothing is happening. These people have been abducted, some of their accounts are accounts that are easily identifiable. But I mean, we had a woman who escaped from a camp, trekked for like 3 days, came back home. And when I met her, and this woman spent, I think, almost like 40 days there, she was telling me things that I said, security need to hear this. It will help them. And this woman said she can even take people. She knows the direction of where the whole place is because she trekked from the camp to her house. So she can retrace her steps back with a little guidance. So these are things to be concerned about. Not trying to pick anyone or some other things like that. No, it won't. If you pick me, you arrest me. It will reduce the insecurity. I'm not the one carrying AK and running up and down kidnapping people. I'm just using my mouth to say, please, can we try to stop this thing? This is what I'm doing. The people that they should be arresting are out there in the bush. They're the ones who are creating all the havoc. So I do this thing with this clean mind that what I'm doing is just trying to raise awareness. And you can't come and tell me that I shouldn't speak. Constitutionally, I have the right to speak. The Constitution has given me the right to speak. And I speak with so much responsibility, knowing full well what I'm in. So I am asking people that we need to speak about these things. You see, there's this thing we do. Sometimes I do media consultancy, media training to people, especially in rural areas. And I keep telling them, I say, sometimes when you want to speak about an issue, try to have a lot of people in the community speaking. And like you want to write a petition, try to have like 20, 30 people. Everybody signs it. It carries weight. When the government or any authority sees it and they see that, oh, there's a petition from these people, and you have like 20 people in the community who sign it, it's going to carry weight rather than just one person signing it. So I ask people that do not hesitate to speak about this thing. Let's continue to create awareness about the problem that we found ourselves in. You have any information to divulge, take it to the security, but please, let's not relent for anything. Let's not relent until the day we see visible and tangible achievement. Then we can just relax. And people think that we don't have anything to do. Our own is just to come and be screaming our head off because of insecurity. I have a lot of things to do. By the time this thing is sorted out, I'll go back and concentrate on my life. I'm building my life. I have a lot of things to do. Or people think that I have data to waste coming to social media. So please, my own is that let's keep talking about this thing. We are not breaking any law by talking about it. We're just trying to create awareness.
All right. Thank you very much for that input. I have observed keenly over the years, from the moments I heard about you, it's been advocacy, looking out and speaking out for the rights of people and ensuring that the government is held accountable. As good as it is, I know a lot will happen. There will be there will be comments from state actors who think that you are being too loud, right? And we see all that you do, and we encourage you to keep at it because it gives some people hope that despite the situation they may be into or they have had to experience, despite the trauma, they know somebody is speaking truth to power. And we say this because we know that sometimes it can be challenging for you. You want to focus on your business, you want to focus on building your life, but then there are things that are happening all around you that your conscience cannot ignore. And we see all of that. And we say thank you. We say thank you, Ruben, and to you and your team at Radai, which you didn't even talk about Radai. I was actually expecting that Radai will come into the conversation along the way as a body co-founded by you, and we'll have people talk about that and also provide support, right? But then since you didn't mention Radha, I know Radha will come on. This is just a few minutes past 9, and we have few minutes to go. Uh, I want to ask this question, right? What is your relationship with the state government in clear terms, no ambiguity, as it concerns vis-a-vis the security situation in the country? Do you guys see eye to eye? Is there a room for conversation?
Yeah, yeah. See, when you talk about the government, I don't know. There are a lot of individuals in this government that we talk about. We talk, on issues. So my relationship with them is very cordial, very professional, very cordial. You know, so like I said, I have a lot of very top government, I mean, political appointees very well, respectfully. They might not um they might not agree with the way I speak, outside this advocacy that I do, we usually meet somewhere, and then of course we talk. For most of them, they see nothing wrong with what we do, because like I said, we're not breaking any law, in what we do. And this is basically because there's an absence of something which has created this opportunity for us to come into it. But the relationship is awesome. Honestly speaking, that I can tell you. So I mean, there's nothing. Relationship is absolutely fine. Of course, there are one or two people out there who, like I said, are not comfortable with the way I talk. But the majority of them are people that we relate very well. And this relationship is so professional that areas where we seems to have a disagreement are areas that we keep aside, and then we concentrate more on areas where we have things in common. And I agree that yes, I'm repeating it, that there could be one or two people who might not really be comfortable with this advocacy we're doing, you know. But like I told someone, I said, when it happens to your people, you can decide to keep quiet. When it happens to your community, you can decide to keep quiet. But for me, we'll keep talking about this thing. And it's not us being a rebel, no. This is us trying to have an ideal society. And we know it's not going to just pop out in a day. It's going to take a lot of, advocacy, a lot of talking, a lot of time. And so we're doing our own part. And I keep saying this thing sometimes. We are not going to do this forever. You get to a stage where you possibly step aside. But what I keep telling myself is that I want to look back one day and say, when I had the opportunity to speak up, I spoke. When I had the opportunity to give
Mm.
hope to some people, I did. When I had the opportunity to intervene in the lives of some vulnerable people, I did. And this is why Radi, came up. Just there was a lot of hopelessness around. There was a lot of pains around, and we decided to come in to see what we can do. So all these things, the talking, paying fees, and advocacy are things that we've been doing for a very long time. So my relationship with the government, absolutely fine. Even though I don't know who we refer to as the government here. Is it as a whole or what? But by and large, some of the people who are there are people who we relate excellently well. Yeah.
You know, you yourself know that through this session, I have been speaking with caution. As a media personality, you must understand what I am doing all through this session. And that's because rather than discourage in a way, we want to encourage the people who we know as friends who are in power, who are doing the right thing. We don't take their effort for granted, but I think every now and then we would want to call and say, do an audit on what you say you are doing. If you say you are going 3 steps forward and 10 steps backwards, you're not making progress. Okay.
And then
We are
we'll
not
have to
in
come out
any
to
way.
tell you.
Yes, 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 of course. We will, it will be unwise for us to see that uh, just because it's not happening to us yet. And by us,
Yes,
I mean maybe me directly, right? It doesn't even have to be my sister, my brother, from the same lineage or whatever. But because it's not happening to me directly, then I wouldn't speak about it. It's unwise. You could see that even people in government, either past or present, security officers are being unalived. It just doesn't make sense. And so when we speak about these things, I honestly know that it's not always to cast aspersion or make the government look like they are not doing their bit. They are. Every now and then we see projects being commissioned, right? We see aids being given. Yes, there may be question of why is the aid concentrated in this area and this area is neglected? Why are these people getting so much attention and those other people are not? Yes, those questions exist and we will put it out because we need answers. And so we thank them for the things they have done right. And honestly, we will call to ask questions for the things that were not done right because they said while they were going into office that while they were being sworn into office that they will uphold their the tenets of their office with utmost integrity. And when where that fails, we have the right to ask questions. And so I thank you again, Ruben, for what you do. All right, you're back up. The network went off earlier, and I thought you were gone already. So I want to say thank you to you and to everyone who is watching from Facebook, and to those who already have questions, and to those who have more questions. Anytime this video comes your way, you can just drop the question, and oh, he's here. He's here. All right, Ruben, I was actually saying you give parting words for our viewers.
Okay. Yeah. So, one of the things that I keep saying to people is that we didn't know we will be where we are in terms of the insecurity ravaging us. 10 years back, we didn't know it to get to this level, and then some of us became complacent. Things that we should do, times we ought to do, we didn't do it. So I'm talking to people, and I keep saying this thing: with the way this insecurity is spreading, everyone needs to be part of the solution. Everyone needs to be part of the solution. What we didn't do 10 years back, and this thing spread to this level, let's do it now. Let's continue to speak out. Let's continue to help. If it hasn't reached your doorstep, it has reached other people's bedroom. And there are people out there who need a voice. Help to amplify their pains, help to amplify their voices, help them to survive, help Kaduna State to survive, help Nigerian to survive. Let's continue to talk about insecurity by highlighting, by preferring solutions, and some other things like that. God bless us. Oh, this thing froze again. I don't know why it keeps freezing.
Join back up. All right, please
Yeah,
go on, Ruben. It's quite
yeah.
challenging, but you're rounding up already. Go on, please.
Oh, I don't know where I stopped. I actually ended.
You stopped at help them to survive, where you were talking about
Oh,
we all
yeah.
helping
Okay.
each other to
Okay.
survive. That's where
Let me say it quickly before this thing happens again. So what I'm saying is that let's continue to help to amplify the voices of the people out there who are experiencing this insecurity. Let's continue to amplify their pains. Let's continue to speak out. Let's continue to profile solution. No one should keep quiet because of political consideration or anything. No, the pains outweigh the politics that we should play, the suffering. And like I said, 10 years, ago, we didn't know it would be this bad. So let's continue to do
uh,
the
uh,
right thing. Let's continue to do the right thing
all right.
now, please.
Thank you, Ruben Buhari. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been an interesting session with our one and only Ruben Buhari, and we thank him for all he does. We pray that we'll meet him in a more better circumstance where we have a lot of applause for the state, the federal government, and every person who is doing their bit, even the security personnel who is doing their bit to make Nigeria safe. Thank you again for watching. Until I come your way some other time, this has been Voices and Forces. You have a good night rest. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.